Hi, I'm Sahil Malhotra, Director of Business Development at Qualetics Data Machines. Welcome to QCast, where we bring in our leaders, experts, and guests to talk about AI challenges and opportunities. Today, we are going to interact with Mike Fowler, Chief Commercial Officer at Qualetics, and we are going to talk to him about the impact of AI on business growth. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, Sahil.
So, Mike, in our previous discussion, we were talking about how companies are facing challenges in terms of implementing analytics and AI efforts in their businesses seamlessly. Now, what is it that Qualitics can actually bring to the table in terms of helping these companies exceed their expectations in terms of implementing analytics and AI seamlessly?
Sure. Well, it centers around our focus on the issues that research shows are the greatest obstacles to successfully deploying analytics and AI solutions. Now, compared to the algorithms themselves, and the algorithms tend to get most of the attention when people think about AI, the things that are most critical to success are the less interesting, easily overlooked, but critical deployment related issues. So it starts with how the data is managed. The key is we structure it upon ingestion, making it possible to understand the data relative to context, action, and actor. And what I mean by that is we capture an understanding of what the event is that happened, where in the experience did it happen and when, and who was doing it. Then we move on to how we store the data, and we do it in a way that's optimized for analysis, optimized for analyzing the data immediately as it's streamed in, so you get up to the second insights on what's occurring. We also store it in a way that optimizes it for analysis in very large volumes. This is really important when you're doing analytics around prescriptive or predictive outcomes to understand what's going to happen in the future. It's also really critical to provide support for the extensive processing requirements that go along with AI, especially AI that includes machine learning components. Next, we focus on the visualization experience. So as we visualize the analyzed results, we include features that allow the users to refine the analyzed insights that are being visualized. So each user has an opportunity to drill into the data in different ways to uncover new insights. And that brings us to the last thing. As the users do find some insights that they think are really relevant and really deserve collaboration, they can share and socialize those insights in a way that allows everyone to collaborate using the same facts and data to have faster and better informed decision making. And in doing that, we're actually creating more organizations that operate like data democracies who are able to get access to the relevant facts and data when they need it. There's another thing, though, that we also do in our AI environment. We make it easy to, if any of those analytics would be helpful or valuable for your customers, we make it easy to productize those analytics and ingest them and integrate them with your existing customer user experience in your customer facing software.
Right. It's really interesting, Mike, that solving for the deployment issues is one of the major things which could actually help resolve the experience of an AI initiative, which actually is just a proof of concept, within a controlled environment, and then how it kind of culminates itself to be transformed into a full scale, concept to deployment, which actually would help uncover, those practical considerations, which could further help expose problems which weren't even anticipated. But the description that you gave for anticipating those practical considerations, using like structuring the data, optimizing for analysis at scale, and then extensive and interactive visualization features, and then simplifying the insights in a way that can actually be socialized and shared I believe can be the major difference between a very, very developed and mature AI deployment and one which is basically, which can be abandoned at any point in time. So, continuing from here, Mike, could you help us with a real world example in terms of, when we use AI, how this would further enhance the user experience, at the time of implementing such analytics initiatives?
Sure. Well, I'll use a retail example since everyone can relate to shopping for something at some point in time. So let's say you're a programmer working for a retail company like a Walmart in the Americas, Schwartz Group in Europe, or 7-Eleven in the Asia Pacific markets. So these are companies that people might commonly go to order something, maybe have it delivered or whatever. So if you're in a company like that and you sell products through software, web, or mobile experiences in some cases, if I use a family example, so at some point your spouse's brother or your sister may be home late one evening, they grab some old laptop that was handy and they tried to order something. If they ran into a bug, they'd probably tell you about it. And if they wanted to understand what happened, you'd find yourself in the middle of an informal customer support conversation. So you start you start by asking what they were doing when the bug occurred, what kind of device they were on. You may even want to know what operating system or browser they were using. And it's not likely that your brother-in-law or sister-in-law may be able to describe off the top of their head all of those details. But if you were using an analytics tool like Qualetics, you could look up what their user experience was, and you could see where in the flow their error or defect occurred. Now, you might be able to see that, oh, this is an error or bug that I'm familiar with. We've discussed it as part of the programming team. And you think it's one that's common to Windows XP users. So you look in the analytics tool, and sure enough, even though your relative may not remember what the operating system was, it's right there in the analytics tool. So that confirms that this is, in fact, a known bug. And you can let them know that, oh, yeah, this is a bug we're aware of. It's going to be fixed. You could say, well, it's relatively low priority. We're going to get to it shortly, but we have very few other users that are using Windows XP. So it's not at the very top of our list right now. So whether your relative knew all of the details that they went through in their experience or not, you've been able to drill into those details, understand things that they couldn't even remember, and give them insight as to exactly what was going on and what's going to be done about it.
Right. It's again both funny and nice, Mike. Wherein it's a social gathering, with the family, which kind of turned on its head into an informal customer support, situation. So, Mike, could you help us with a real world example in terms of how a well developed AI initiative can actually help, enable the user experience even further to actually help the users to grow their relationship with this particular application or service?
Sure. So if we stay in a retail example, then let's say again that I'm a programmer and I'm working at a company that sells consumer technology products, laptops, cell phones, things like that. So they're kind of high ticket items. People may buy just one thing from their cart, and they're spending a good amount of money to get this one item versus a dozen eggs or something. But if you look at it from the programmer's perspective, you might find it very interesting if you could just watch user experiences as they occur. And what Qualetics does is we monitor errors, defects, latency, and user friction in real time. So it would allow the programmers to sort of see what user flows are happening. They'd see some user flow anomalies being flagged, and I might see that there's an abandoned cart that just occurred. So if I drill into that user's experience, I may see that what happened was this person was going through the purchasing process of they're going to buy themselves a cell phone. They put it into the cart, and when they were checking out, they plugged in a coupon code, and the coupon code was expired. If you're like me, Sahil, have you ever plugged in a coupon code only to have the system say it's expired?
Well, quite a few times, Mike, and it really feels awful, but I mean, what can be done about it?
Right, because you've kept track of this coupon code, looking forward to when you're going to make this fairly expensive purchase, hoping to get this discount off of the list price. So you were just told it's expired, and what do you do next?
Well, I have two options. Either I'm going to just kill the app and sleep, or probably next, what I can do is I can go to a competitor's, application or a web or mobile, website, and then I can just go ahead and buy it.
Right. So you've explained two outcomes, one bad, the other worse. One, you've just decided not to purchase it, and the other is you've actually decided to go look for a competitor who may give me a bit of a price break and buy it from them. So if I'm the programmer and I've zeroed in on this user flow behavior that is a problem, I want to start to put some scale to it. How much of a problem is this? So our analytics tool allows that programmer to say, in the last week, how many times have other users plugged in a coupon code and we presented the expired coupon code experience to them? And I might see that that happened 1,000 times in the last week. And of those 1,000, 60% of them abandon their shopping cart not to return and purchase it. So that's 600 times a purchase experience on a high priced technical product was just dropped. So I may feel like, okay, I've identified a problem, I put some scale to it, it's meaningful. Now I want to collaborate with the rest of the team, share what I've learned, and have us all come together to come up with a solution. And so I share that facts and data. Everybody has the same information. They see that it is meaningful. It's worth something they all should focus some time and attention on. And you come back with the idea that when somebody plugs in an expired coupon code, you'll present a message that's something like, sorry, that coupon code expired, but your business is important to us, and we're happy to extend to you this 5% off coupon code. So if you've identified this price conscious set of your customers, and by giving them this message, you're giving them what they want when they want it. Now, it may not be as big a discount that they want, but you've given me something that may satisfy me. And if my option is I've wasted my time, I'm going to go look elsewhere, or you know what, I got something off, so I'm going to go ahead and purchase it. You may get the outcome that you want. So you make the change, you wait a week, and then you run the numbers again. And you see that this week, with the new process in place, that abandonment rate went from 60% to 10%. So if this were in place the week before, those 1,000 consumers that had the expired coupon code, that led to 60% of them, or 600, leaving, would have actually been 50% of them staying. The 60% went to 10%. 500 more people purchased that product this week versus the experience that would have done it the week before with the old process. So, this is an example that by having the right analytics tool, you're empowering the right product identification, product resolution, and the ability to put scale to the problem and the resolution.
Right. It's really interesting, Mike, that you bring up this point of customer experience, where, it's not only important to identify the bugs or the defects or the latency issues, but it's also very important to look at the user friction points. And that's where, a tool like ours, would really help enable the app owners or the solution providers to actually look at areas of user friction, because it's not only important from the point of view for that particular current transaction, but it's also important from the point of view of the overall customer relationship for this particular app. So I mean, to put this into perspective, let's assume there were 1,000 subscribers, of which 400 did not have a problem with applying the coupon code which they had, and of the remaining 600, even if we are able to give out a 5% coupon code every time an interaction comes in where there is an invalid coupon code, and let's say 500 of them choose to stay back and make the purchase. So for a $525 mobile phone, a 5% off would mean $25 per customer. That would mean in a week, that's approximately $250,000. And in a month, it's almost $1 million. So that is the kind of revenues which this app is looking at. More importantly, the idea is to generate a trust between the app and the customers, as a result of which the customers, of course, will become loyal in the process. And then to look at what is going to be the future value of purchases of these customers with the app, rather than the customers simply moving to a competitor.
Yeah, the $1 million or so a month in new purchases is meaningful, but the customer loyalty that leads to their future purchases could be even more meaningful, all because you have the right analytics tool.
Absolutely, Mike. So really, thank you for your interesting, examples in this user experience. So, of course, now we can very confidently say that the solution that Qualetics is working on will actually help the companies implement their analytics and AI efforts seamlessly, and that too proactively in real time, to ensure that the users always experience delights rather than moments of dissatisfaction.
Thank you, Mike, for your insightful thoughts on the impact of AI on business growth. We just heard Mike Fowler, Chief Commercial Officer at Qualetics Data Machines, and we will be back with more thoughts from Mike and our other team members soon. Please follow us if you like our content, and you can reach out to us at the link in the description if you have any questions. Thank you.